Hi, what happens if you have a retrograde Neptune, Mars, or Pluto? Well, it means that when you were born, they were sending their rays directly to the Earth, not through the interference of the Sun. The Sun was not between the Earth, Neptune, Pluto, Uranus, but they were on the other side. So if the Sun was here, the Earth was here, Neptune or Uranus or Pluto were on the other side, so they were sending their rays directly, which means that their influence will be stronger than, more intense. So people who have retrograde Uranus, which will be usually half of humanity, they have the themes of Uranus, which is truthfulness, which is authenticity, which is finding their own individuality and not taking into account what others think, just finding their uniqueness. These are very important themes for such people. They have to develop that, and actually they'll feel it much more stronger. For in the eyes of others, people with retrograde Uranus might feel a bit more Uranian, more erratic, more individualistic, more eccentric sometimes, or just more, they're going in the opposite current of others. They just have a bit more quirks and twists, but it's only because in this life the energy of Uranus is stronger for them, because they have to find their individuality and they're finding it, so they're more unique, a bit more different. They have to find their own truth. Uranus is the divine truth about your own authentic path in life, who you are, and anything which is not truthful to your path, people with retrograde Uranus will have little tolerance for. And it depends which house this Uranus is. For instance, this retrograde Uranus, that will be very strong. Say if Uranus retrograde in the 10th house, such people have to find the authentic career. They cannot just be in a career just for the money or which satisfies their material requirements. They need to do something. Their actions, worldly actions and career, has to be more authentic to who they truly are. So there can be a lot of erratic influences. Uranus is like on and off influence, very like stop and go, starting something till they find the truth, till they go through a few episodes where they have to find what is truthful for them, what is real. Say if it's in the 10th house about career, if it's in the 7th house, retrograde Uranus will give them a lot of disruptions and stop and go, or sudden changes in relationships till they find the truth about how they deal with relationship. Uranus in the 3rd house, it's about communication, how you express your needs and how you communicate with others truthfully. So there will be some very strongly erratic or need for freedom in the area of life where Uranus is retrograde, in the house where Uranus is retrograde, And they'll be strongly, as I said, strongly more individualistic, more a bit rebellious streak in that area of life. So people with retrograde Uranus, they're getting double influence of Uranus in their life than people with direct Uranus. People who have direct Uranus in their horoscope, they have in previous lives, they have developed enough the uniqueness, or they don't need this double, this double dose in this life. So usually more unusual, more people on the path to self-discovery and to discovery of truthfulness in their life have Uranus, and they tend to be more, especially in the house where Uranus is situated, the retrograde Uranus, they tend to be more, they're more disruptions, usually more changes there than normal, and more moments of awakening, because this really strong Uranus influence, when it gets triggered, you all of a sudden, if you've been trying here and there and it doesn't work, say if it's in your 1st house, finding your path in life and who you truly are, your true identity, all of a sudden you have an aha moment. The inspirations with retrograde Uranus come suddenly. Okay, if you have retrograde Neptune, it means in this life you're trying to learn, and you're having a double dose of Neptune. So such people can be a bit more dreamy, a bit more idealistic than others. Neptune is the planet of divine love, unconditional love. So such people will be much more much more sensitive, much more easily, how do I say, especially if they have more aspects to Neptune, but they'll be more feeling the pain of others. So imagine Neptune is sending straight to the earth, to those people its influences. It doesn't go through the influence of sun to weaken the energy of the direct Neptune, but it's straight. So such people are learning to develop sensitivity in their life, and actually they are. They're much more sensitive. It shows that they're much more attuned to more finer arts of beauty. They're more artistic. Neptune is a planet of high divine inspirational beauty, like very like beautiful classical music, like more refined art. The art of Neptune is usually more refined, more for the soul, more for the feelings. It moves you from within, it makes you kind of inspirational. And music as well will be, such people will be strongly attracted, more stronger. But of course, half of the population will probably have a retrograde Neptune. Neptune is also expression of divine higher love. And it's usually divine love is expressed in our life through art, as I said. So such people are more artistic, more attuned to the sensitive side of life, to the more gentle side, to the more poetic, to the more artistic side. And divine love, it means that it makes those people more, as I said, they're more compassionate towards others, they're more giving. Usually they'll have more of this Neptunian ability to sympathize with others when Neptune is retrograde. More of that energy in their life. And Neptune also brings a lot of stronger longings in the person, because Neptune is your high ideals, the things that makes you long for a long forgotten kingdom of God, where we come from, the fatherland, the kingdom of God, where everything is blissful. So such people might have divine discontent in them more when Neptune is retrograde, because they're kind of longing for this blissful state, and on earth it's hard to get that, to feel this divine love, and they try and do it through escapism way sometimes. In retrograde Neptune, people might be more prone to escapism, reading, daydreaming, drinking, TV. But it doesn't make an alcoholic, it doesn't break or make a person a retrograde Neptune, because half of humanity would have that. It just brings small longings in the area of life where you have it, than if it was a direct direct Neptune. So Neptune in the seventh house would give more longings in relationships, and a bit of dissatisfaction, divine discontent in relationship to love and partnerships, and you want to have someone who you can share the feeling of the desire to have, for instance, someone who is um, how do you say, unconditional, to be unconditionally loved will be stronger if you have Neptune retrograde than if you have Neptune direct in your life. And just the desire for more perfect, for more beautiful expression of life, for the gentler, more beautiful expressions of life is stronger in such people. So that's why they might be feeling a bit more wistful and a bit more, full of longings. But as well, as I said, the artistic side will be stronger, and the ability to express those beautiful, refined qualities of divine love and inspiration. If you have Pluto retrograde, then the plutonic energy in your life will be stronger. And plutonic energies they can be extremely dark sometimes, because Pluto represents your biggest fears, paranoias, your biggest demons that you have to face, like the dark lower side of a human being, like the astral dark demonic side. Everyone has their own skeletons, and Pluto, when it's retrograde, makes the person more aware of those, either by making the person more extreme. Pluto retrograde people will be more extreme in the areas of life where Pluto is situated. For instance, Pluto in the seventh house, they'll be more extreme for relationship. Pluto in the ninth house, they'll retrograde, they'll be more extreme in their belief system, their moral system. Pluto in the 10th house, career-wise, depending on the horoscope. And through this extremism that Pluto can bring, and intensity and focus, it wants you to... basically it can bring so it wants you to face your fears and weaknesses in that area of life and transcend them, and when you face death you're no longer afraid of it, but usually such people are more intense, they have a bit more crisis prone life than people with direct Pluto. And of course, there are always exceptions for that, as in everything. But they'll feel stronger, the plutonic energy of a bit more obsessive, a bit more intense, a bit more having to overcome the darker side and the lower desires, and they have to learn lessons. They might have more power struggles in their life, or positions where someone is trying to control them, or they're trying to control someone to be more possessive, more jealous, more, you know, those more psychologically manipulative situations in life, but especially power struggles, how you manipulate with power in your life, how you use the power in your life. Pluto retrograde people will have bigger lessons to do, to learn with that. And because they have more plutonic energy, they can be conveyors, or what is the, not conveyors, transmitters of Pluto energy and Pluto principles much more. And Pluto energy is such that are more of leaders, more people who can control bigger masses of people, and some pretty serious dictators and leaders have Pluto retrograde, but it doesn't have to be so. This is one of the more extreme manifestations. But you're having more plutonic energy in your life when Pluto is retrograde, whether in a good sense or in a bad, whether you use it for achieving of something great, whether you use the power of Pluto, of this extreme, more focus, more obsessiveness, more intensity of the personality, and power, ability to control, desire to control, or this psychological slant which Pluto gives. Pluto makes one like a psychologist. Pluto retrograde makes you even more so. And whether you use it for good or bad, it depends on other things in your horoscope, on the aspects of Pluto, for instance. But you will have more of Pluto energy, or more of Uranus energy, of the rebel if Uranus is retrograde, of the quirkiness of Uranus, of the individuality of Uranus. In whatever house Uranus is, you have to find there your truth calling and your truth in your life. And you can be a lot of geniuses, or people who are inventors, or people who have radical new ideas, or something like more inventive, more unusual, more with more inspirational minds, when the ideas come to them to renovate, to restructure something, the reformers. They have often Uranus which is retrograde, or Uranus which is even if it's not retrograde, it has to be very strong in the horoscope. But the retrograde Uranus goes a long way to make someone Uranian. More, Uranus is the planet of, as I said, of the rebel who wants to restructure, to make everything new, to renew, to improve, to the anarchist sometimes. And Pluto is the artist, the longing for something higher, more beautiful, and Neptune retrograde makes you even more so. Well, thank you so much. Please share with us what are your experiences about that, about your retrograde planet. Do you identify with those energies? How do you manage to incorporate those really high vibrations of the outer planets in your life? Such planets are very demanding when they're retrograde. They tend to bring more difficulties and crises in life, so you can realize those energies, which are extremely powerful, and you can apply them in life more so. All those cosmic higher octaves planets, Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto, they tend to be more, as I said, they can give great gifts to a person through those connecting the person to great divine inspirations, and kind of extra special abilities and skills in the person. But they might usually do it in a more difficult way, by increasing, because their vibrations are a bit disruptive, because the material world, it's too rough for those higher vibrations. So a person might have a bit more of an uncomfortable life, or more emotional, or more intense, or more disruptive, depending which planet it is that is retrograde. But they tend to be a bit more unique and different than others, and the higher manifestations of those planets, they make the person somehow more ethereal, or more otherworldly, a bit, there's something sparkly and unusual, with people with more of those retrograde planets, something a bit more as if taken from higher worlds. So thank you so much. Please share your experience with everyone. Share how you identified with your retrograde planets and what are your observations. Thank you.